Today we're going to make a cheddar cheese and Parmesan souffle. 4 egg whites, 85 grams grated cheddar and Parmesan combined, 30 grams of plain flour, 150 milliliters of full cream milk, a pinch of cayenne pepper and half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, 2 egg yolks, 30 grams unsalted butter and 2 ramekins. First we need to warm the milk up slightly, 150 mils of milk. We put that into a pan, a stainless steel pan preferably, and we put that on a gentle heat. We don't want to boil it, we want to bring it just to below boiling point. In the meantime, we're going to melt our butter. Again in a stainless steel pan. It's important that you use stainless steel pans, otherwise you tend to get the flavor of the pan in the souffle, which you don't want. So we're going to melt our butter. Once the butter is melted, we're going to stir in the equal quantity of plain flour and thereby making something called a roux, which is a thickening agent for our cheddar souffle. Again, it's important that your heat is not too high because you don't want the butter to boil, because it'll start to color and then that's going to affect the different flavors in your souffle. You can see how it's melted but it hasn't colored. We're going to add our flour to that butter mixture. Take a whisk and just very gently combine the two. I've removed it from the heat because I do not want this to turn into a darker color. That's going to affect ultimately the color of your souffle. So I'm going to add the mustard and the cayenne pepper. Right, the milk is just below boil. You can see how hot it is, but it's not boiling yet. Turn that off. Turn the heat down at this point. Put your flour and butter mixture back on the heat and slowly add your milk to your butter mixture. You want to do it small amounts at a time so that you can incorporate this without getting too many lumps. You can see how thick it is, so we can add some more. And the final amount. And then let's just very gently mix that in nicely. You can see how it's now looking like mashed potato, which is the kind of consistency that we want. Whisking that nicely, you can see how low my heat is, so it's not burning whatsoever, it's just cooking very gently. Right, now you can see that's a fine flour-like dough mixture. The next step is to turn the heat off, to take our egg yolks and to whisk them in one at a time. If you do more than one at a time, the mixture will scramble and you're going to get a very horrendous looking souffle which will not rise. That's nicely incorporated now, and I can add the next one. Whisk that in. And there is our base for our cheese souffle mixture. Right, we have our base for our cheese souffle. I've allowed it to cool ever so slightly for about 1 minute, and I'm now going to add the grated cheese to that. Right, now all we need to do is whisk our egg whites until stiff peak. Voila, stiff peak. You can see how that is now holding its own, and that is ready for us to continue with the souffle. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my plain ramekins and I'm just going to grease them with butter so that the souffle doesn't stick and it's easy to eat out of. We're going to put the cheese mixture into a large stainless steel bowl, and we're going to slowly fold in the egg white mixture. You want to do it small bits at a time because that helps to combine it. When you fold, you do not want to stir, you just want to very lightly mix the mixtures together, because all that air that you've trapped in that egg white mixture is what is key to the success of the souffle rising. You can see how light that mixture is, and I'm not hitting the bowl. I'm just delicately incorporating the two together. Right, that is fine. You can see it's quite lumpy, but that's because the cheese is grated. We don't mind that. If you want a very smooth souffle, you can just add your cheese a little bit earlier whilst your heat is still on, and your cheese will melt entirely, and you'll get an entirely smoother finish to your souffle. Okay, and this is ready to go into the ramekins, which is then going to go into a preheated oven at 200 degrees Celsius for between 8 and 12 minutes. Again, you don't want to fill them up entirely because they are going to rise with all of the egg white mixture. So 3/4 fill is just about right. The final very important thing to do is to run your finger around the outside of the ramekin like that, so that the souffle rises equally when it does rise. And there we have it. Our souffles are ready to go in the oven. In they go. 8 to 12 minutes. Okay, the 12 minutes are up. Let's have a look at our souffles. There we are, nicely risen. We'll take them out, put that onto our serving dish. You can see it's quite soft and runny in the middle, and that is what you want. You've got a nice firm finish on the outside and soft and runny on the inside. And there you have it, a cheese souffle made by Tom Hughes.